welcome to Nacht, Waffen Pilot with Penny Bradley, and today we are really blessed to have Kevin Estrella of Pyramids on Mars with us. My mouth got all screwy. Anyway, he and his band are who made my theme song. So this is my good friend that I've known for 3 years now, something like that.
3 years at least.
And we have vacation together.
Yeah.
He's seen me at my worst.
And your best.
And my best. Yes, that's true. Yeah. So, anyway, welcome to the show. You asked to be on today. You wanted to share something with the audience.
Well, there's been just a lot of different things that have, been developing. It's like an ongoing story, like, from the last time we to, where I'm going and where things have been going, and even the growth of my own radio show, Pyramids on Mars UFO Radio. We hit a monumental mark just a few months ago.
You did?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, my interview with Clifford Mahudi marked my 50th guest on my show.
Awesome.
And I've been doing it now for 3 years, which I had no idea. But it's been a worldwide growing audience. You can find my radio show at artistfirst.com. That's pretty easy to find. Just go to artistfirst.com and just look at the shows, and you'll see Pyramids on Mars UFO Radio. But that show was created because of Grant Cameron. Actually, it was the UFO researcher Grant Cameron. When I met him, and
I've met him.
Yeah. So when I saw him do his first presentation, he said, forget about the nuts and bolts. If you really want to know what's going on in the UFO community, you have to speak to the experiencers. The experiencers have the answer. And I was thinking, geez, wouldn't that be great to have a radio show that's dedicated to the experiencers? And then I was offered my own radio show 3 years ago, and that's what it's been about, is giving them a voice. But
you had me on your show once.
Yes, I did. Absolutely. Yep.
So.
And this year really has really thrown everyone for a loop in regards to what's going on here on the planet. The whole planet's been hijacked because of this virus.
Definitely.
The planet has been hijacked because of this virus. Anyone who thinks that this virus is normal and that a thing that happened, you're well not informed, and you really need to do your research and understand that this is part of a much larger agenda. And if you start looking and studying Agenda 2030, sustainable development, you'll understand where this is all going.
Exactly. I've tried to explain that to my friends on social media, is that if you read the documents for Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the Rio Accords, and the Paris Accords, all of this was tied up, well defined, that this was going to happen. That's why so many of us were against these things. Not that we didn't want sustainability, but we don't want a new world order, total control with no personal property, no personal anything. It's a program for complete control of the economy and all the individuals. And it's in the documents. If you read it surface level, it sounds really good. But if you really read the documents, it lines it all out. I had hope for us when Trump pulled America out of the Paris Accords. But then I saw the same stuff going down here that was going down in the rest of the world. So it's the same agenda.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm filling in the blanks. Yeah, I'm glad you're filling in the blanks. Yeah. So, it's been a really, personally for myself, it's been a really tough year because of trying to deal with all of that. And, I had, plans for, performing live with Pyramids of Mars this year. And obviously that was not going to be the case. So I had to earn pages, and figure out where things were going this year. And of trying to deal with what it ended up turning into was a year of working on new music. A really tough year because it started to come together.
Yeah.
And that's where things started to go. And so I started putting focus on that, plus other things that were going on, personal things that were going on in my life of rebuilding myself and reestablishing myself after a marriage breakdown. So that
was pretty hard for you.
Yeah, it was 3 years. It was 3 years in courts. It was endless. The pain. I can't even tell you what it was like. I'd rather die than go through it again. I really would. There's no way to go through it.
I've been through 2 divorces.
Yeah, so you know what it's like.
Yeah. The person who was supposed to be your best friend and have your back is suddenly trying to tear you apart. Yeah.
Yeah. So with all putting that all aside, some interesting things kind of happened this year that were kind of unexpected, because I wasn't really thinking about a new album, but then it just happened to be that I started coming up with all these new song ideas, and these
awesome.
song ideas were just coming to me from the edge of the black.
I remember you talking about the edge of the black. In fact, you titled the last album that, but if I remember correctly, it's that place that is beyond the normal astral area where creativity lives.
Yes. So when you any creative artist, when you whether it's writing music, whether it's painting, whether it's writing a book, when you get into that creative flow, your brainwaves slow down into an alpha state, which becomes your highest telepathic state. And then what you're actually doing, and you're not even knowing this, is that you're actually tapping into the collective consciousness of all the other beings out there in the universe, and you're kind of co-creating with them. It's still your voice, yet now you're hooked up to the and how the Ponte explained it to me, and that's them there. Hey, like my new poster?
I love your new poster. I was noticing that. You work for Tilcom.
Tilcom, that's right. He's my boss, just so people know. I
work for Tiamat, just in case people wondered.
Okay. So they taught that the Ponte, they taught me about the edge of the black, which was you go to the edge of the black of the universe, turn around and listen for the next song to be sung to you. And then you bring your own emotional interpretation to it. You sing the music with your full heart, and then you project that back out into the forever oceans. Okay? And so what was happening with this new music that I was writing, and the process was already taking place at the end of the edge of the black. When I was finishing that album, I needed one more song to complete that album, and that song ended up being Arcturian Rain. And if you listen to that song, it's different, and it's very bright sounding. It's got this high energy to it, but it's a very singing song. And the difference is because it was played on my signature guitar, which is a very guitar. It's Actually, I'm going to go get it. I'll show you. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, my theme song is from his album Edge of the Black.
Yeah. Yes. So this guitar here, this is my signature guitar. This guitar was designed by Alex Lifeson of Rush. Okay. So Alex actually designed this guitar. It's there's only 500 of them made. This is the actual same model as his. It's the Aurora model, which has the 3 active single coils, which gives it this. It's like the super strat, the ultimate super strat guitar. It's got a very bright sound to it, different than a rock guitar. And the music, this was just writing from, this guitar wrote that song. And that song was written in one take, Arcturian Rain. The entire song was written in one take.
Oh, and I know it took you a long time to come up with Nacht, Waffen. You kept sending me variations.
Yeah, that took a long time.
For one song as beautiful as Arcturian Rain to come out in a single take, that's just incredible.
So that's what happened with Arcturian Rain. It was written in one take. But here's the thing, Penny. Almost all the new music on my new album I'm working on were all written in one take.
Really?
Every single song was written in one take. Yeah. So this has never happened before. This has never happened before where I picked up the guitar and the song just came to me and the whole entire structure of the song came in one take and I did not have to change the structure at all. It was perfect as it was. I had to go back and learn the songs as they were because they were given to me.
Yeah.
So, and these aren't like easy songs. There's like the changes are there's a lot of changes that are going on in these songs, but they flow perfectly and they tell a story. And that's what it was. It was the guitar that was telling the story. It was the universe that was telling the story in the song. And,
cool.
I listen to a lot, like I hear a lot of instrumental rock guitar players. There's a lot of them out there. Yeah. But what turns me off from some of them is that they end up sounding more like backing tracks for a guitar solo, if that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I have issues with that kind of band. It might as well be a solo player that hires stand-ins.
Yeah. Yeah, and like some of these guitar players where it sounds like it's a platform for them to solo and show off, their technical abilities or how great they can solo without any song development, like a catchy melody, or even the chord progression that's going on underneath the music, the actual song. Like I'll listen to these guys playing, and they're amazing. They could do all that stuff, and like they're like best players in the world. But what are they saying? Where's the song? And as a guitar player, I'm bored. I'm bored of that. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's.
I can understand that.
Yeah, so I get bored of listening to guitar players solo all the time because I want to hear the song. I'm a guy who listens to Rush, Led Zeppelin, Tool. I want to hear a song. Give me the song.
You've heard what I listen to. It's everything from
Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah, you got me on Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Well, yeah, I do Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I do Moody Blues. I do Rammstein.
Yeah,
I do The Who, HU from Mongolia, as well as The Who, WHO from England.
I love when you post music, because you have really good taste. I really love it. Seriously.
Thank you. Well, I love your music, so hey.
That works out pretty good.
You are the first and so far only rock star to have ever written a song for me, and here it is 2 years later, and I'm still jazzed as hell. So,
Well, guess what? There's another one that's coming. There's Nacht, Waffen Part 2 on this album.
is there really?
Yes.
I have not heard that one yet. So,
Yeah, you have not heard this one yet. Yeah, this one is, let's put it this way. It's one of those songs that I've got to keep cranking it because it sounds better when you turn it up. And then I had my neighbor downstairs banging on my door at 11 o'clock at night saying, "Can you please turn your music down?" So, but dude,
headphones.
it's not. It's so cool. But yeah, this one of the new songs on the album. Once again, the song was written in one take, and it was perfect, absolutely perfect, and it was heavy. This freaking awesome riff, this amazing riff on my Les Paul guitar, and that song is called Luftpanzer, Air Tanks.
Okay.
So yeah. So it's.
I'm going to have to buy this one. Yes, I've bought 2 of your albums. I still have to buy the 3rd one.
Well, this song is. I'm really excited about this song, Lufthansa. It's very Toolish. It sounds very much like Tool. So that's from. The other cool thing about the new music that I'm writing is that, like the bass is very important to me in the music. And that's another thing that.
If you don't have a bass, you don't have a song. I'm sorry. This is like my personal taste in music.
Yeah, like the bass. I got to hear the bass, and I find that's the other thing that sometimes turns me off of instrumental rock music, rock guitar music, is that the bass is just buried in the mix. So it just sounds like the bass is playing the same thing as the guitar. So you don't even hear any bass. So it's once again the music is very two-dimensional. I want to hear the bass. Like when you listen to Led Zeppelin, you hear John Paul Jones. You hear in any Rush song, you hear Geddy and you hear Alex. It sounds like an orchestra because there's the bass is carrying. This is just important as the guitar. And the same thing in the band Tool.
Band is supposed to be a team that works together, not a star with a backup group.
Exactly.
That's one of the things I look for in music is the band a unit, or is it a star with backup players?
Exactly.
And I look for that unit, and I need drums. I need guitars where you have a melody and a bass, and if they have a harpsichord or a synthesizer or flutes, I'm in heaven. They're not necessary, but there are days when I go through YouTube and I ask for, I put it in the top, harpsichord music.
That's nice.
So,
the guy you got to check out. Oh, what's his name? I think his name is Jean. Oh, I can't remember. He's French. Anyway, all his music is just nothing but harpsichord, and he has an old 1700s harpsichord with all the original painting inside it, and it's double harpsichord, and he plays nothing but Bach and that, and he sets up in old houses and stuff, and he plays beautifully. You got to check this guy out. I'll try and send you some links. Oh my God, I've listened to this for hours on YouTube, listening to him play the harpsichord. Absolutely pristine. I will send you the links. He's just God. He's just amazing. He brought the harpsichord back to life in the 21st century. It's just
my listeners know I've been doing my family tree, and when I got to the Dukes of Anjou, one of them was the first troubadour who was basically royalty. They were not supposed to have jobs because their job was to manage the country, but he wrote poetry in Occitan, the native language, rather than Latin, and set it to music, and he played the lute. And it's mostly sex music. It is, I'm being honest. But when I found him in my family tree, Guillaume X d'Anjou, I decided to see if somebody had played any of his music, because it's still, it's there. We still have copies of what was written and the notation for the music. And so I found this guy in southern France who was recording it, and I was like, oh. I spent days listening to this, drove Lou absolutely batshit. When I finally went back to rock and roll, he was like, whew. But it was like immersing myself in what my ancestor had written.
Nice.
And that was a lot of the reason why I did the family tree. Was my grandparents had basically cut off our roots. So they lied about who we were, where we were from. And to be honest, my father has very dark skin that is incompatible with the family tree as it's presented. Still is. I have not yet found where he got his dark skin. So that's, none of the stories they told us said why Daddy was dark. And I mean dark. He's dark like Native American, purebred. So he looked like David Jansen from The Fugitive. Old actor, black and white version. But he had dark skin like he was Native American or Hispanic. And, two of my siblings do too. And it's looking at this and going, where did that come from? Because he used to say, well, I'm Irish. And we'd go, Black Irish? We used to tease him for months when he would bring it up. Well, I'm Irish. Yeah, right. So knowing that the stories didn't match the physical is what drove me to do the tree. And all of my family went, my mom, because my father died in 1980, my mom went crazy, my grandparents went crazy. It was, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And now I know why, and it's too late because I've already done it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I found out who we were, and we're related to all of those people everyone loves to hate. So, but yeah. Anyway, I love your music. So when is this new album coming out?
I'm expecting it to come out in the springtime of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was something else that a couple other strange twists that took place with this album that are very important too. So once there's like the one being that I said that the majority of the music, almost 80-90% of it, was all written in one take. So that's completely different than anything that's ever happened to me before. That's never happened before. So it's a real stream of consciousness, and I think it's because kind of a new level of where things are going. So I took Edge of the Black, of streaming from the Edge of the Black, and now it's like, okay, now we're going to take it to the next level of stream of consciousness songs, and the songs are just going to come in one piece, which I think is great, because it really gets back to telling a story. It's about the song. It's about the actual song speaking, not not a backing track so a guitar player can solo, you know.
Yeah.
And like it was a real struggle working with this new album because the mix was different. Because of the like half this album I'm using the signature guitar, and it's a different, brighter sound. The other great thing about this album is that, as I was explaining, we were talking about bass and why a bass is so important to me. I actually managed to get a hold of this year, everything lined up, and I actually purchased myself a 1976 Rickenbacker, the actual bass that Geddy Lee.
I remember when you posted that on your wall that you were so jazzed. So
that's bass that I've always loved. I love that sound, and that's a sound that I've wanted to have in my music, and I finally am doing it. And this album, I exploit the shit out of that Rickenbacker. Now, the other cool thing is that the songs are so different, because half the album I'm using the signature, the other half of the album I'm using my Les Paul guitar. Now, the difference is the Les Paul is where the music came from to that, why on that guitar, and what happened with that guitar. So this is what happened, Penny. It was like back in March, and I go and pick up my Les Paul, and I've got it already tuned low. Okay, it's like a D-tuned guitar. So you take the low E string, you tune it down to the note D, so that it's like an open chord D, A, D, or the last four strings. Tool play and an open D chord. It was really popular back in the late 90s. You know, like bands like Soundgarden, and we're doing it too. But then I take that tuning and then I tuned it down a whole other step to low C. So, and that's what I used to play in my old band Shatter Instinct. It's very low sounding. But one day I pick up the guitar and it sounded so rich, and I just started writing this new music was just coming out in this guitar all in one take. And then I decided to check the tuning on the guitar. It was like, I don't remember my guitar ever sounding like this low. And it wasn't tuned to low C. It was tuned another whole step and a half lower to low A. It was a baritone setting. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I didn't tune this.
It sounded great.
It sounded amazing.
Well, but you have visitors.
I have visitors. And I checked the tuning, even the frequency, because I tuned at 432 hertz. It wasn't even at 432, because the tuning was A, halfway A sharp. It wasn't even like, I was like, what's going on here? Like, it was completely messed. It took me 2 days to figure out what the tuning was in my guitar. And when I downloaded a frequency generator, so I can pinpoint the frequency of what the guitar was tuned to, and it was tuned to 528 hertz solfeggio frequency.
That's the heart frequency.
Yes. Yeah. 528 hertz.
The heart chakra frequency. Yes, guys, I'm not new age, but yes, I do know this stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And I found out that it was Grayson, my Ponte friend, who kind of looks like Tilcum. It was Grayson who put up his hand and said, we thought you'd like to experiment in a different tuning. And he retuned my guitar. I couldn't believe it.
He had retuned your guitar to the heart frequency.
He tuned it to the heart frequency, but he also tuned it to a baritone setting. So baritone guitar, the strings are so low, they were actually almost flapping, and they go out of tune if you hit them too hard. I had to go and buy a heavier gauge set of strings, almost a jazz set of strings, so that it would stay in the intonation for that low tuning, because the guitar is not technically built for that. You usually have to go out and buy a baritone guitar to play at a baritone low, but I didn't. He just played around with it, and I got this great sound, and the guitar is so freaking low, and really that consciousness frequency of 528, it's different, and you hear it, you feel it in the music. It's so cool. And I wrote the other half of the music on this album was all written on that guitar. So this album is literally music from another world. When you listen to it, it's actually coming from another world, because it was tuned by extraterrestrials.
That's amazing. That's really amazing.
Like who can claim that? Who can claim
You.
that?
Now, I understand that some of the bands from my generation had E.T. influences, Moody Blues in particular, and that's why they have that otherworld feel to a lot of their music. So, in fact, that was what attracted me to listening to them, was that I almost go out of body listening to some music. You noticed while we were playing the theme music, I was rocking out to it. Well, when you hit the... Yeah, I saw you doing that too. Yeah, when you hit the parts where you're using the tonal language in it, I have to struggle to stay in my body because I feel myself back out in space in the ships.
Yeah.
And I still don't know how the hell you do that on a guitar.
I don't know how I did it either. I don't know.
Is it repeatable? Can you play it?
I can play it. Yeah. Yeah, I can play it. It's just when I wrote it, it's what was going on consciously. That was what happened. Why it sounds the way it did. Because if you listen to it, it's the notes are the bends are like only like a half a bend. They're not even a full bend. They're just it's just hypnotic. It's just it sounds like a whale. You know, it's like it's undescribable. And
are you using the tonal language on the new album?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm hoping to. I'm really hoping that I can capture some of it on this new album. I've been talking with Sue Walker, and she was translating for Drudy. Actually, I had a conversation with Drudy, and Drudy told me that she was talking with Fira over in the New Zealand underwater base, and they're talking about picking me up in one of their submersible skipper ships to go and converse with the whales so that I can learn more of the tonal language. So, and Sue said that knows this is the first time that station has ever, they've decided that they're going to take a Twitter follower from this far away to do such a thing. So I'm still waiting for that.
Well, you're not exactly just a Twitter follower.
No.
You're one of the people involved in the official First Contact event.
Yes, I am. Yes, and I was told that too. A lot of revelations came to me this year from the Ponte of what I'm going to be doing. So I've been mentally preparing myself for quite a long time, and because we are representing humanity on behalf of the Star Nations.
Mm-hmm.
I'll repeat that. We, as myself and people like you, we are representing humanity on behalf of the Star Nations. That is a very, very big responsibility.
Yeah, so, it is. Anytime that you're representing humanity in interactions with Star Nations or anything else out there, you're no longer just you. You are representing all of us, and you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and we have to be right-minded in what we say, and in our words and our energies. And you know, you do an amazing job that way too, because of how much people attack you, and yet you are still the ship that still doesn't sink, and doesn't sway, and is calm, and knows how to get through the waves and gently. And everything that you say, and I notice the way that you write and how diplomatic. You're like the mother, children. Now stop waving your wings in each other's face. Your angels, stop waving your wings in each other's faces. That's kind of like how you talk to them,
You hear Lou laughing.
Isn't it true though? All the moderation.
I sometimes yell at the angels, but yeah. The humans, I try to stay on an even keel because I am very aware they don't really understand. Until you've experienced interactions with an ET in a physical body, you're standing there with someone in front of you who is another person, but their body is so different. The shock value, you have to get past that to actually do the work. And a lot of people have trouble with that initial shock value. I see that as being the most likely problem for official first contact, is that initial shock value. Because a lot of the people in my 3D real world have trouble dealing with someone from another skin color or another language, much less somebody that doesn't even look human.
Exactly. And I've heard many, UFO, people in the UFO world, researchers who have referred to, the ETs that look human, they're normal, but anyone who looks different, they're an alien. And it's like, okay, so
the ones who look human, the ones who look most like us are the most dangerous.
There you go.
That's my experience out in space. If they look like us, you better be leery of those people. If they don't look like us, they're usually nice guys.
So there you go. Yeah.
I mean,
I'd rather have a Sasquatch as a friend than own a gun, honestly.
You'd be safer too.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. But that's the other thing that I was going to get into was because you bring up a good point in regards to what people expect from official first contact, or even with interactions with extraterrestrials. Because I had a family member recently. I had sent them a link to my interview with Mike Patterson from Sasquatch, Ontario.
Okay.
And I sent a link to his website, and where he has audio recordings of Neff, his Sasquatch friend, talking out in the background. You can hear him and throwing stones and all the pictures of the just talking, just him talking, and him saying, I love you, Mike. Like he said, I love you, Mike. It's calling out Mike's name. And so my family member said, well, anybody can do that. Have you ever heard Mike? Have you heard Mike Patton, from the singer from Faith No More, his solo albums? He can change himself to sound like a Sasquatch. I don't believe any of this. This could be faked anytime. I said, go check out his other stuff on his website, because he's got lots of other evidence. And without even batting an eye, he responds back and says, no, I don't want any of that. I want to be there. I want you to take me. I want to be there. I want to see it myself with my own eyes.
And nothing will convince them till they see it with their own eyes, and even then they'll think that they were hallucinating.
Yeah, I told him, I said, that's not how it works. I said, you can't go and demand them to make their presence. I said, you have to make contact with them.
Some of us can. Some of us can sometimes. Um, um, our friend Kale is pretty good at producing tall lights.
Well, yeah, but also invites them though. Like
Yeah.
he's invited them. He's CE5. It's these other people who don't want to do the work. They demand them to reveal themselves, and it's like that's not how it works. I said, I told them straight out. I said, I said, I've given, people contact me all the time. I ask, how can I have contact with ET? And I tell them the same thing every single time. I said, if you want contact, easiest thing to do, go to officialfirstcontact.com, download the Telepathy 101 primer, practice a half day for 100 days on your telepathy and inviting them to see you, and you will have contact. I said, that's called CE5 protocol. You need to make the initiative to contact them. And I'll tell you why I'll say that. Because I do it all the time. Make the effort to invite them to come visit me. And what do? They show up. Every single time. They show up here. They show up. And it's happened more this year. I've had so many visitations from star nations this year. It's incredible. Because I ask them, please, I want to meet you. And they show up.
Yeah, they do. I've stopped so much asking as I had so many different groups coming in that I needed a little more space between them. Does that make sense? And one of the beings who came to basically live with me is a Naga, and they don't get along well with Zeta types. And so the Punti have stopped visiting me because he's here.
Oh.
And, well, PETA had been the one that had visited me before, and he knew at the time I was quite ill and dying, and I did die and got sent back, and I didn't know why I was dying. And he broke protocol to tell me what I was doing wrong, and he got into an awful lot of trouble for that, and he hasn't been back. I appreciate so much that he told me what was the matter. It was, I have pernicious anemia, and I was taking a pill form of B12 instead of taking the sublingual. And that was the problem. And I actually had both bottles sitting in the house, and he showed me the one I was taking, and he says, bad. Showed me the other kind and said, good. And that's all he did. And he got into terrible trouble over that because he was breaking protocol.
I didn't know that.
Interfering in my destiny. At least that's what I got told about it through my sources. And I feel really bad he got in trouble for it because it was just sheer kindness on his part.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what he did.
They don't do that kind of thing because, even with Sue and Otter in their situations, I'm sure that they could heal Otter from his because he lost part, 1/3 of his hand from a grenade blowing off, and he lives his entire life with this shaking,
Yeah.
And nerve damage and pain and phantom fingers. But the Ponte, they're not they can't interfere or whatever protocol.
Interfere. And I was so grateful that PETA helped me, and I felt so bad that he got in trouble for it. So, yeah.
Well, there was go ahead. Well, I was going to say
others showing up, and they some of them are not friendly. Some of them are. I have a job I do in, I don't know if it's dimensional or what level it's at, but I have a job, a function that I perform, and some of the people, used loosely, who show up are upset about decisions I've made, and so I get a lot of criticism. My contact is not always pleasant, but they're not out to physically harm me. So I will say that it's they want a different choice made. And sometimes they're right that I didn't take everything into consideration. So I do listen to them.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of visitations this year because I initiated the protocol and initiated the invitations, and I've met a lot of amazing star nations this year. One of them being who I wrote a song about, who's on the new album. Her name's Flaley, and she is this blue figure, because it was our friend once again who talked to his tall whites and knew who she was. And the best we could get was that she is Arcturian's peoples. So she is a blend of Arcturian and Lyran, because she has these cat eyes. She has these beautiful amber, bioluminescent, glowing cat eyes, blue skin, and she's got a pont yellow head, just like Rudy. Kind of go to a point.
The Arcturians tend to be blue or purple and physically resemble the Ponti.
Yeah, and her head kind of goes like almost like a football at the back. Mm-hmm. The reason I know that is because I touched the back of her head. It was really cool. It was wild. But she also has this kind of this bone at the back of her neck, or the bone of her skull, which is almost kind of straight. It was like almost felt like a brick, like on the size of a brick. It was very different, the structure of the back of her head. But I touched the back of her head, and it went to like a point. But she's just this beautiful woman, and she's so energetic. She must have been like only in her 20s, and she laughed. She had this beautiful laugh, and so she visited, and then just yesterday, last night, I asked for two things. I gave out two CE5 protocols, and they both happened that night. They both happened. The one was I asked the Sasquatch if they would visit me in my dream, if they would just say hello. And the other thing I asked was I wanted to see Flaley again. Okay? So this is what happened tonight. I had a dream, and in one of these dreams, I was somewhere, it looked like I was in Oregon, and it was very hilly and lots of forests and pines and stuff, and it was a full moon, and there was rocks and stuff, and then I saw this huge, across the street, I saw this very tall, 14-foot tall Sasquatch who was, standing over there and is, acknowledging me. First time I've ever had a dream with a Sasquatch in it, and there was actually two Sasquatch in that dream, and that was just so cool. And I remember that dream. The next thing that happened was I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's usually when I wake up after a good rest, and then I go back to sleep. That's when I'm usually having the visitations of star nations who will visit in a lucid state, in an altered state of consciousness.
Yeah, they like to come at that time where I guess we have plausible deniability.
Yeah, you can call it that. But yeah, it's also like they like to visit in that safe zone of altered consciousness, which is a lucid dream state, but it's not a dream because they paralyze you. First of all, you don't get paralyzed when you're sleeping. I got physically paralyzed. they also will induce you. If you're half asleep and you're close enough to it, they'll just kind of basically go like this and kick you into the dream. It's like, okay, he's close enough, we're pulling him in, and they'll do that. They'll induce you, and so, yeah, this is what
I've had that. Yes.
Yeah.
I have had that. In fact, last night I had a visitation, a chat with the head of the local Guardian group, and I can't remember everything that she said, and I'm kicking myself for that. But the gist of it was that there's going to be a lot of information about DNA coming out in the public, and that the public's going to need help understanding it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
She talked to me for hours, and that's what I remember. So.
All right. Cool. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I was basically to get back to what happened yesterday morning, because I had asked for a visitation from Flaley, and then last night, 5:00 in the morning, I'm trying to get back asleep, and then I was quickly induced into an altered state. But this time, I found myself immediately, I was on board a ship, and I was in my astral body. Okay. Because we're kind of jumping ahead here, but another thing that's happened to me this year is that I've learned to astral travel. Okay?
Cool. And remember it.
And remember it, and remember how to do it.
That's the big part. A lot of people can astral travel. They just don't remember it. So that's the biggie.
Yes. So I'm remembering this because I've astral traveled now at least half a dozen times. First 3 times that happened, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what was going on. I had to do research. And then when I was reading about finding out about what they described what it was like, the electricalness of your body and the physical body, the falling out backwards and flying really fast, and you're not asleep, that's when I realized that I was astral traveling. And so now I've been working on it. I'm actually taking a course, learning how to do it more, and getting more and more comfortable with the process of leaving my body and creating that electrical field, which I know that I'm actually physically just separating. So immediately was in my astral body, and I was on board this ship, and it was white walls, almost like molded pillars into the side of this big ship, very, very tall, very, very tall. And then I felt myself, I was floating, and then I felt myself, I was traveling down this hallway. It was almost like a vertical or horizontal elevator, and I'm flying down this elevator at tremendous speeds that I'm almost dizzying. It felt like I was going 100 miles an hour flying down this tube. And then I come to the end of this tube, and this big blue glass that's in front that looks like a TIE fighter, the front of a TIE fighter, the glass kind of like, and then it opens, and I walk in, and it must be like 50-foot tall ceilings, once again, the same kind of molding walls. It was only about 20 feet, it was narrow, and then I saw 3 blue beings in white uniforms over there. And then one of them approached me. I couldn't see, they blocked their faces, but I could see their blue skin, very dark blue skin. And then one of them approached me, and then she gave me a hug. And I'm sure that it was Thera, or Flaley. I'm sure it was Flaley. It had to be. So, and then I immediately was back in bed, But
we have a listener wants to ask questions. You ready for that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Katie, let Chet Goldstein join us.
Hello there. How's it going, everyone?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Things are going well here too.
Nice.
My producer said you had questions.
Oh, I didn't have any questions.
Oh, you just wanted to say hi. Okay.
Yeah, I was just joining the meet. The live stream was kind of being a little weird, so it was hard to. It was lagging out for me, so I figured I'd join the meeting so I could see it better. If that's okay, if I can leave if you want me to.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm sitting here with you, Penny. And hey, what's up, Kevin, bro? Love you, Kevin. All right, Chet, you just mute yourself and let them go.
Okay. So you were on this ship and you were there astrally. Have you noticed how much different the physics is whenever you're astral?
Definitely. The one thing that really stands out with the physics of when I'm astral traveling is my sense of balance. So
Mhm.
I know my sense of balance is really, really more sensitive. Like I'll know if I'm upside down or whether I'm right side up. And that for me is the key that I know that I am in the astral, because it's more because that when the first time that it happened to me, I was like spinning in space, going tumbling in space, and I could feel myself going upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up. Like I had a good sense of balance, but I didn't have a body, and I wasn't asleep. And I was thinking, okay, why am I not dreaming? Where the heck am I? It's like, and the first couple times like this astral travel happened, that was the first time. The time that it really struck me was I was really tired one night, and so I took a melatonin to try and get to sleep. And I'm lying there in bed. It was after midnight, and I'm really, really tired. And I'm at the point where I'm kind of watching myself fall asleep. So it's like I could feel my body getting tired. I could feel my body starting to get this tingly sensation, and I could feel my brain was almost like it was relaxing, and I could feel this pressure that was building up in my pineal gland. And I'm thinking, oh great, I'm close to getting asleep. I'm almost asleep. Oh, thank God. But the thing was, you don't do that when you're sleeping. You're like you're unconscious and you're not conscious.
Yeah.
I was watching myself fall asleep, and then immediately I'm at the point of falling asleep, and then the pressure builds up in my pineal gland, and there was this explosion. And the next thing I know, I'm plummeting out the back of my body, traveling downwards, like if I had fallen, like if I had done a backflip off of a cliff and doing a dive. But multiply that to get it going 100 miles an hour, like that. And I could feel it past the back of my head, and I'm flying really fast. It was amazing. It was so incredible. And then all of a sudden I became paranoid because I realized I'm not sleeping. What is going on? What's going on here? And I felt like I wasn't close to my body. So I decided to go check on myself. And next thing I know, I'm still flying out there, but I go and check on my body. I could feel my covers. I could hear everything in my bedroom. I could hear the fans going. I could hear myself breathing. But it was like if I was awake. You're not that conscious when you're actually doing it, when you're asleep. I was actually hearing myself in my bed, and I was thinking, how could they be in two places at the same time? What's going on here? The other thing is the reason I did that.
You don't want to ask.
Okay.
How can you do both at once? It's like you split, and there's like a rope between you out there and the body laying there.
Yeah, they call it the. Yeah.
Yeah, you have. It's called a silver cord. And as long as that silver cord is there, you can't lose you can't get lost out there. So that's good to know.
That's good to know.
So as what I explored was what I could. Can you mute your mic?
Mr. Stringy.
Chet, can you mute your mic? Thank you. Kevin,
Yeah.
what I did was I started exploring what I was capable of out there, because the physics is very different. And I basically figured out what can I build, because what I really needed was I had so many things, both this world and other, that were driving me crazy. I needed a hidey hole. So I needed you know how a little kid will build a tree house to get away from everything, and no one's allowed, especially the other gender, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I built myself on the outside. It looks like an asteroid, and it has warding to keep everything out. So it's like these big red neon things all over this rock.
Okay.
And there's one way in, and you have to be really careful that you don't bump the red neon things. But once you get in, it's like a meadow surrounded by oak forest. And there's a stream going through the middle, and it doesn't come from anywhere, and it doesn't go anywhere, but the water flows. And there's a weeping willow next to the water. And I built a gazebo, and it's marble pillars, and there's a bed inside it, and it's got those furry blankets. It's got one of those in lavender.
Now wait a second. These red rocks. So this is like a red light district then?
It could be construed that way, I guess. It's red warding.
You got a bed and you got it all set up. It sounds like
I go in there and I sleep. You know, you can sleep while you're.
Yeah, sure. That's what you call it.
I sleep in there, and I have other people show up, and guards mostly, and they watch me while I sleep. And no, it's not a red light district.
Oh, Red Rock.
Have you seen Supernatural, the show?
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
Oh, well, it looks like Enochian warding is what it looks like, and it's straight out of Supernatural, and it's all red like when they're activated.
Okay.
So that's where it came from. You know, all of this stuff in your subconscious will come out when you're astral too, and it will take on a life of its own. So you have to be really careful what you create out there, because in magic, there is a concept of an egregore that is a thought form that becomes real. It becomes a physical object and takes on a life of its own. And there are a lot of things that are considered to be egregores created by the mass consciousness. One of them would be like America's Uncle Sam. They're symbols that take on personality and sometimes take on a physical presence as well. So that's something you have to watch for, because over time, egregores develop a mind and a will of their own and can sometimes turn hostile. So you need to be careful you're not making those.
Well, the course that I'm taking on astral travel was developed by Dr. Jones, and he's been doing it for 25 years. And he's got there's protocols that you do throughout the entire thing in regards to how to protect yourself and surrounding yourself and like balancing your chakras and Kundalini energy alignments. So basically, you're building a spaceship to protect yourself before you go out there.
You're building your Merkaba?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So he's very, the really good course, and it's been helping, and so I've just been, practice is basically the key to keep working at these skills. I mean, I've actually learned how to astral travel in multiple different ways. Everything from from almost falling asleep and then disconnecting from my body, and I'm floating on my bed, and that was pretty cool. I don't know how I did that, but it happened. To another time where I actually, in a dream, I actually stepped out of the dream, wrapped myself up in a white light, and then I felt my body buzzing, and boom, I was out of the dream, and I was in the astral. So I actually left I consciously made the decision in the dream, I'm going to lead an astral travel, and I did it, and I was successful. So there's different ways of doing it. There are multiple different ways of being able to train yourself to do an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, the people in my circles, the hardest part for them is remembering it when they come back. And you've already made that leap. And there are wildlife things out there that you need to watch for. There's a beautiful pink and white, well, rose and white flower out there. The leaves are like a burgundy, and the face of it is a portal, and it's a predatory thing, so you need to avoid that. There are things that look like jellyfish. They need to be avoided because just like jellyfish in the sea, they're predatory. But most of the time, the worst thing you'll encounter are other humans in astral, and most of them are completely unaware. They won't remember it the next day. So
yeah, I've heard about.
So
yeah, I've heard about that.
That because they're not aware, you're dealing with their animal side, and I try to just avoid humans out there unless they are active and awake, and that's why I have so much warding around my rock, is because it keeps the sleepers out. I don't mind interacting with humans when they're awake, but I'd rather not deal with the animal side.
I'd rather not deal with most humans.
I actually like most humans.
Well, don't worry. I got some favorite action I'm sending his way anyway, since he wants to go to war. We'll talk later. I just called a name, and I was tracking the name Harmon down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got him.
Kevin, there is someone who is a former friend who is currently causing me and my friends and my network problems. He decided that the network were CIA handlers, and he's just gone off the deep end, and he's just being a total problem. I'm sorry that you got subjected to that.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, you know something. I got to say, everybody's got their little interested troll people out there, and you know something. You haven't made it to the big times until you get a troll. But I tell you right now, those trolls, they got a little raft of con coming their way right now. So, guys, I got your number.
Yeah. Yeah. I now have a troll, so I guess I've made the big time. Kevin, do you get trolls like that?
Well, trolls. I don't really want to call them a troll, but I have had problems with a particular UFO researcher. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He so far is pretending I don't exist, except to talk about strange ladies who say they've been to Mars. Yes, guys, when he talks about that, he's talking about me. So
Yeah.
there's another person in the community that when he talks about Dark Fleet disclosures ruining disclosure, he's talking about me. And this is a guy who thinks he's a hacker, and he's been in the on the edge of the community for a long time and has harassed others. And now I guess it's my turn. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been harassed by this person and screamed at in front of hundreds of people. Because he thought he was going to try and make a show of me. He picked on the wrong person. I reframed him quick, and he went crawling back to his table with his books.
My usual approach is to ignore them unless they interact with me. And this particular individual has been causing problems for about 6 weeks and has taken up threatening friends of mine. And so I made a public notice on my wall yesterday that he was not a friend of mine anymore and why. And so I guess we had to expect this would happen. So
children. Oh well.
There's so many people out there with a need to feel like they matter, and this coming forward with ET interactions, with UFO abductions, with SSP experiences, I don't get why they think that's cool. You're interacting with something so outside the norm that talking about it automatically puts a label on you in most people's minds. You're setting yourself apart for scorn. So I don't understand why these people think it's so important to be public and famous. I'm sharing what I know to be true in the hopes that we can get the worst of the abuses out of the system. And that would be the CIA kidnapping children to serve in black ops for the rest of their lives. That should be stopped. Now, as far as extraterrestrial contacts and even some interdimensional contacts, those are things that should be encouraged. You know, there are some races out there who are dangerous, and people should know who they are, and be aware that everybody out there thinks they're good guys. Nobody says I'm the bad guy. So you have to be friendly and open, but still pay attention and protect yourself. There has to be a balance there, because you wouldn't leave your front door unlocked when you go to bed. Same idea. There are bad people on Earth. There are bad people in space, but they are individuals. You have to give the race a fair hearing, but understand everybody out there in 3D has an agenda. And that's the fair hearing part. You listen
Okay, yeah.
to them, you get to know them, you find out what they're about. But you don't broker any deals until you know what their agenda is. So, I mean, we vacationed together one year. So you are completely aware I have interaction on an ongoing and regular basis. And that's one of the things we have in common is we've both interacted with some of the same beings. And I think that's just completely awesome that I have someone I can talk to who knows, yes, it's real. No, I'm not crazy. And neither are you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was quite honored when we was staying with Misha Johnson and our friend Kale was there, and Misha, her reptilian protector Iano showed up, and
I missed that.
Kale saw him, and Misha actually broke into tears when she saw him. I couldn't see him because I was sitting on the other side of the far couch, so I couldn't see down the hallway because she was in her bedroom, and I could hear him. I could hear him moving around in her bedroom. I couldn't see him, and Kale told me, "Sit, don't move, don't move." And I said, "Okay, no problem." So, but I heard him, and then when Misha saw him, she started to cry because she hadn't seen him in a long time. And the reason why he showed up was because he felt that somebody had hurt Misha, and he was really worried about her. Somebody had physically hurt Misha, and he was really upset. Well, what had happened was that Misha had actually gone for eye surgery that day, and she had a and he knew that somebody had hurt her, and he was upset, and that's why he came over. So that was, to actually be there to witness that was incredible. That was incredible.
Yeah.
It was also I got a 4 days brain surgery course in Nacht, Waffen because of Penny Bradley.
Yeah.
Blew my
yeah. I'll be honest, by the end of the first day, he had told me to shut up, that he had enough, too much, and I was sitting there going, oh shit, how did I miss that he was getting overloaded?
because I was
so bad.
I didn't say anything, but it was by the end of the night, and we decided we watched Iron Skies Part 2, and you kept narrating the whole thing, and I got to the point because I just wanted to drink and get drunk and just watch the movie, and I didn't want to learn anymore. So.
Yeah, Kale and I were sitting there blow by blow. Everything in the movie, we were telling how it was real. And
what this means, I'm like, I just want to watch the fucking movie. No more education.
After you and Kale went on to New Mexico, I spent half a day with Misha. And I asked her, was I really that bad? In my little girl whiny voice. And she says, you can go from surface to deep in under 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my show, I try to stay, not too deep because I have a lot of listeners who this will be the first time they've ever heard me. So they have no background whatsoever. And I'm inviting my friends on, I think I've only had to go scrounging for a guest once because somebody didn't show up and didn't tell me until the last minute. And so I pulled in the guy that does my counseling. And so he did a great job. In fact, they kept him for the next show.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, That was Gabriel Hackney. And I met him in the Anuna community. And those are the people who believe they are fractal incarnations of Anunnaki. And they have abilities. And I expected him to talk about Anunnaki, and instead he talks about Buddhism.
Okay.
So, yeah, this was, but I haven't had to go hunt people. You asked me to be on this one. Most of the people are happy to come back. So I must be doing something right. I know I shift altars during them. And you may start off talking to one version of me, and by the end of the show, you've talked to 3 or 4. And there's a couple of repeat guests that they take bets on how many times I'm going to shift altars during the interview. So that's why I jump around subjects a lot, is because it's not really me.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
Yeah, that explains it. I'm shifting altars, and it's not the me that started the video. So, fortunately,
that happened so much when we were on vacation. That explains it. That totally explains it. Because we'd be talking about something, and all of a sudden you're off on a different tangent. And I'm like, where did this come from? What's going on?
I have 2,200 altars. I have reintegrated 31 of them. I have a hell of a lot more to go. The last one, the CIA got mad and broke my shoulder and told me not to do it again. And I haven't, because it hurts so bad. And even after having reconstruction surgery a year ago, I still have to have help dressing. So I can't, my left shoulder will not function well enough for me to be able to dress or undress by myself. So I have to, Lou is being paid to be my caregiver. And that's, I'm honest about it. I figure I've been honest about everything else. I should be honest about that too. I have altars. I was working on them. The CIA got mad. They broke my shoulder. Now I can't even dress myself. And I mean, you saw how disabled I actually was there, and add the altars on top of it. And it makes sense why every place I've ever worked, they told me I was weird. So, yeah, I'm a mess. And SSP is why. If I had never been taken by the CIA, I would be a single individual in my body, and I would have all of my abilities without constantly shifting, and I wouldn't have people looking over my shoulders. I wouldn't be being shot at. So I personally blame the CIA for this, and if I can bring them down, I will.
Yeah.
So when I say that I have more issues with the CIA than I do with ETs, I'm being honest. The Draco were kinder to me than the CIA was. That's my personal experience. I happen to have a lot of respect for the Draco.
I don't know.
And I still have interaction with the Queen Mother. And I have a whole contingent of her personal guards that are staying with me. So that's part of my protection system. And I've had people read me without my consent and tell me all kinds of crap about, oh, you're surrounded by Draco. Well, yeah, they're my guards. They've been here for, what, 3-4 years now? Since I went public, I've had Draco guards, and I've had orc guards, and I've got Siakar. Yes. I've got my Siakar because Tiamat is the head of the council that keeps me on my mission. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is the symbol. It's a solar cross, and it's the symbol of my family. So, it's.
Oh, you too. Hang on.
The solar cross was my Christmas present, and I'm wearing it early.
All right. I got something here that's quite dear to me that sits on top of my amplifier.
Oh, yes. I got you that when we were on vacation in Vegas together.
Great.
You burn incense and the smoke comes out all the dragon mouths.
Yes, if I had incense, the smoke would come out of the dragon's mouths. But yes, this sits on top of my amplifier, and you see it in some of my music videos. And I thank you very much for this. It really means a lot to me. And
well, when I saw it, I knew you would love it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. What are friends for, you know? That sign that you got, that you told me I should buy about Starfleet officers only, that's on our front door.
Yeah.
The landlady looks at a little odd, but
that's cool. Yeah. But, that's mostly of what I wanted to share with you is, mostly regarding what's happened music-wise and where this the new album direction is going. This change of consciousness, this flow of consciousness, and the continuous telepathic development of my music. And I'm hoping that more of the whale music, more of the tonal language is going to come in with this new music. There's a lot of powerful things that are going on in these new songs that need to be heard. Particularly that song that I dedicated to Flaley. That one is really bleeding, but you have to be at the right level of vibration for it to feel it, to understand what's going on. Very sad song, and the premise of that song is basically why do we have to wait, to call out to extraterrestrials to help rescue us from our planet that's going to go, we're going to face an extinction level event, and we have to cry out for their help.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because you've mentioned that on your wall and in the Sandia Mountain group. And so there's been a I don't want to call it prophecy exactly, but a prediction of something's happening. Where did you get this information?
Ponti are monitoring. They have been closely monitoring this planet for a long time. It's also been written about in our ancient books, but it's also there's nothing that we can do about it. They've known about it for a long time. Star nations have known about it, and it has a lot to do with where the planet is going through in the galaxy. So it's not global warming. It's not global warming. Yes, there is a problem with that, but that's not the be-all and end-all of what's happening with the planet. The biggest issue is that our planet is going through an area which the Ponti call the zone. We are just on the edge of it right now, which There are these solar storms that are on the edge because of this energy that's coming from the galactic center. It's changing it's fluctuating the the magnetics of our sun, and our sun is changing and is having more and more of these flares. So our sun is changing, and our planet is getting bombarded. Our magnetosphere of our planet is slowly collapsing. Okay, it's slowly collapsing, and
that's why the Schumann's is going up.
Exactly, that's exactly what we're seeing here. And what they're afraid of is that it's going to get to the point where our magnetosphere is going to collapse enough that we're going to get bombarded with so much energies, and it's going to fry everything. Everything's going to get fried, all electronics. That's one of the issues. That's one problem, but there's a lot more. I mean, basically, they said that the only safe place is to go underground. So that's a problem. The earthquakes, they're monitoring the earthquakes that are increasing all over the planet, and the media is not talking about these things. There are huge earthquakes that are happening all over the planet. There's shifts going on. They are seeing dormant volcanoes in the United States becoming active again. So something's going to give. In addition to that, we're on a pole shift. We're going to have a pole shift very shortly, a physical pole shift. And if this actually occurs, it's actually going to change the tilt of the planet in regards to the spin. And it's going to cause, you have to understand, that the Earth is not circular. It bulges out because of the water. Okay? And if you access, that bulge of water is going to get displaced, just like a gyroscope. And it's going to come, and we're going to have massive flooding. And the Ponte have warned, if you live on the coast, you may want to move. So there's a huge amount of things that they're watching. They cannot rescue everything.
This is consistent with the visions that I've had since the late 80s. And at one point I saw it in a loop where it would show me the whole cycle and then start over again. And in my visions, it starts with two of the calderas, the supervolcanoes, going off in the United States, and then that starts a cascade effect. And the end result is the west coast of the Americas and Antarctica are on the equator. And that would put basically Saudi Arabia as the North Pole. And I didn't do the math to figure out where would be the South Pole. But the process, I have not seen a time frame for it, so I don't know when it's going to hit. But my Tiamat keeps telling me that my job is to make sure humans survive it. And the criteria I was given was you need to be above 1,300 foot elevation, because that's where the splash is going to come to. You need to be more than 200 miles inland. And if the inland part is a valley, you need to be further than that. That the splash is going to be horrific, but what it will do is basically scrape the land clean. There will be, when it flips, because that's like a 90-degree flip, there's going to be an earthquake like we have never seen in the lifetime of humanity. And everything's going to come crumbling down. So you need to be in a structure that is as earthquake resistant as you can possibly get it. So you don't want to be in a brick house. You want wood houses are actually better for it because they shift more.
Yeah.
And you need to have at least 6 months worth of food, because once this hits, all the supply chain is going to be gone, and it takes a good 3 to 6 months to grow enough food to survive on. So you need food already for that growing period until you can get a good harvest, and hope you can get a good harvest, because when this flip happens, all the nuclear power plants are going to explode. So you're not only going to have this volcanic winter, but you're going to have a nuclear winter on top of it. Okay, everything that happened at Fukushima and Chernobyl is going to happen at every single power plant that is operating. So this is a major big deal. You have to make sure that you are not going to be downwind from a power plant. And there are biological labs all over the planet. And when the power's down, the containment's going to be down. And so all of those bugs are going to escape. And I know there's one in Kearney, Nebraska. There's one in Plum Island. There's one in Nigeria. Wuhan has one. Fort Detrick has one. These are just the ones I know off the top of my head. There are any level 4 containment is going to go down when the power does. So some of us have generators and we can keep using electricity until we run out of gas. Some of us know how to convert plastic back into gasoline, so we'll have it longer than others. Those countries that have been taking our trash, they're going to have all that plastic to convert back into oil. And it's a simple matter of heating it to the right temperature. So there's a lot of stuff that could have been done all along that hasn't been done. All of this plastic wastage, all of this one-time use plastic. One type, you can heat it and it turns back into oil. The other type, you heat it and it turns into a solid. The solids can be turned into bricks. They can be used for building roads. They can be used for building fencing, housing. And we're coming to a point where all of this trash is going to become gold.
Right.
So people need to think about the things you're going to need to survive are water first. You can only go 3 days without water. Food, shelter, warm clothing. And in summer, that's not a big deal. But if you've been in a temperate region and there's a pole flip and you're suddenly in a polar region, it's going to matter. Okay, so you have to be prepared with all of those things. And you need to know how to do things without electricity. You know, it's only 200 years ago that our entire technology was based on other stuff. So if you can learn the old skills that required hand tools or you know, burning kerosene, which you can get kerosene from melting plastic. So, you know, go back to the old skills from 200 years ago. No, we won't have computers. No, we won't have cell phones. No, we won't have stereos and all that. But we should still be able to survive and rebuild. And it's going to be more important than ever that we be what the Ponte called right-minded. because we're going to have to deal not only with each other, all the people we think we don't like, but by that time, we will have had official first contact, and there will be First Nations coming. There will be Star Nations coming, and First Nations. The natives know how to survive. They've been doing it for millennia. I know that probably sounds terrible, but they survived white people. Seriously, they survived white people. They can survive anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. These things are, the Ponty have talked about it. They keep talking about it. And that's why there's also these massive ships which are parked out in the orbit of Neptune, which are basically the equivalent of Red Cross. But they know they can't rescue all 8 billion people on Earth. It's impossible. So, but they have, Star Nations have multiple times in our history come at these extinction level events to help relocate people to new areas so that the human population at that time had a fighting chance to survive. This has happened before. It's the archaeoplanetography of the planet of these events, and the Star Nations who assisted humans during those periods of time. So, and people that understand that I just dropped the word archaeoplanetography. Archaeoplanetography is the physical planet, all the land mass on our planet actually tells a history of the planet. You see, if you look at a place, in the Earth, and it looks like an elephant, it's not pareidolia. That is archaeoplanetography. If you zoom out, you might see a picture of a person. You zoom out further, all of a sudden now you see a different picture. But the more and more that you zoom in, the more and more of the detail of the history of the planet. The whole planet's covered in archaeoplanetography. And the Ponty and the Ponty, you can see that the nations who actually helped move Americans from South America to North America during one of these cataclysmic events. The archaeoplanetography is there. The history of the planet is written in the face of the Earth. They have known that they've discovered archaeoplanetography on every single planet, every single moon, every single star that they have explored in the last 3 million years.
Well, when the Guardians gave me the history of Earth from their point of view, they said that every 10 to 15,000 years that humans venture out into space, they become violent out there, and I can testify we have, that we humans become a threat to any species in our reach, which I can testify we have. And they come in and take advantage of a cyclic natural disaster to toss us back into the Stone Age, where hopefully the next time we'll be better people. And they said that this disaster is preventable if we choose to become a level 0 galactic civilization, which means we take care of every sentient being on the planet. And they defined sentience as being able to look in a mirror and know it was your own reflection. Know it's yourself. So that includes a lot of beings that humans won't consider their equals, but Star Nations would.
Yeah.
So that's that's one of the things I'm supposed to be telling people about, is that there will soon be a choice made whether to become a galactic level 0 civilization or be tossed back into the Stone Age. And this is a choice that has to be made. So it's not all fear, doom, and gloom. If we choose to accept the Guardians as our racial parent and become a galactic level 0 civilization, we will survive this. Nice to hear there's hope.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, we are at the end of our time, so give me your links and I'll put them on all the places we share this so people can find you.
Yeah. You can find Pyramids on Mars at pyramidsonmars.com. You go there and links to my CDs right there. Go to Bandcamp. You can get physical CDs or digital. Everything is there. I've got 3 releases: Pyramids on Mars, Echo Cosmic, and Edge of the Black. So please go check those out. I also have online instructional guitar lessons that you can find. There's links for those too that teach my neoclassical style of guitar playing. Please check it out. And I also have any other guitar players out there. I've got my Neck Illusions DNA double helix design on my guitar. As you can see, here we go. You can see
the design that goes in between the struts.
Yeah, in the back of my guitar is the DNA double helix. Can you see the detail on that?
Yeah, I do. That's
beautiful. Yeah. So I have that on sale too, and that's the Pyramids on Mars logo. So please go check that out. And support independent musicians.
Yes.
Please.
Support people that are not enslaved by the system.
Exactly. We are free. Well, Penny, thank you so much for having me on Waffen Pilot. I love our conversations. We had some good chatting, and I always learn. I'm always learning from you too. And I appreciate that.
Well, I love you. You're one of my besties. So when you said you wanted to be on, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Thank you for asking. And for our audience, the show after this is called Goddesses and Devils with Katie Camara and Amanda McManus, and it's worth watching. So thank you all very much.
And we're off. What's up, Kevin? Bro, long time, man. I ain't seen you in a minute. Hold on, let me get my damn camera on. Man, I hate trolls, bro. I hate them. I ain't lied to you man. I love your show, just to let you know. And you still playing guitar?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm like, man, last time I saw him, he was playing in the band. I ain't been around a minute. I've been doing this radio, and I'm tired. I mean, I'm at the point now we got Eugene Sonny Irvin thinking he's going to harass people out there, and that got on my nerve tonight. So I just told my wife I need to book a ticket. I need to go pay him a little visit. He needs, that little man needs to, I don't like doing that. Thank you, honey. Huh?
First your screen.
I will. So that's the next thing. Say hi to...
Hi, how are you?
You already saw him? Oh, okay. Yeah, you did a great one, Kevin. So how's your show been doing, bro?
It's been doing really well. I have really, really awesome guests all the time on my show, and I try and keep it as high caliber as I can because the information is very important, that needs to get out for people to be prepared for official first contact, which is in 8 months.
Yes.
Official first contact is in 8 months. People don't understand this. It's the end of the Desert Treaty. The 1971 Desert Treaty is over. And regardless of whether we are ready or not, and it's in my personal opinion that we are definitely not ready.
No,
however, they are not to allow it to happen again where the mass majority of humans will perish. They're not going to let that happen again. So we have to be prepared for them to make themselves known and for us to, to step up to the plate. How are we going to handle it?
Well, I hope it ain't through fear anymore, because I'm getting tired of fear and psycho craziness. And I mean, I'm sorry, I wouldn't come to this country at this point because people are crazy. I'm just done. I'm dealing with I don't want to say the idiots out there that believe they believe media over people that do the investigations. That actually
I can't believe people who say that any possibility of voter fraud is ridiculous. This was the most secure vote in U.S. history. People believe that.
Yeah.
I guess
they've been cheating and voting all these millennia. I mean, the whole time the United States has been open, they've been cheating. How are you gonna say it's? I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand anything about this world anymore. So I just learned to just drift back and just say, hey, you know something? Everybody learned in the end. But the biggest issue I have at this point in time is that we only get U.S. news and U.S. information, but if you go outside this country, there are places like Armenia, Azerbaijan, Romania. They're fighting New World Order, getting them out their country. They signed a treaty with Russia to get the New World Order out. They signed a treaty to stop China from sending their products to their country. Why is that? And why do we have military buildup on both sides of the country? No one's looking at the picture. It scares me. I mean, it's like, hold on. We have a naval buildup on the Pacific and the Atlantic. Come on. Maybe I'm just a little stupid. And they're leaving Alaska alone. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, huh? Why they don't want Alaska? They have all the natural resources that you could possibly have. Makes you wonder. But Kevin, bro, if you ever want to hop on, I was talking to Gary Legier. He was telling me about your what was it? Something about Mars you do. God.
Well, there's pyramids on Mars.
Yeah.
And pyramids on Mars, and then there's pyramids on Mars UFO radio.
Yes. Pyramids on Mars is awesome show, he said. He said, if you ever said, Daryl, if you ever get a chance, listen to that show. Listen, Kevin does in detailed information there that's beyond. I'm like, really? I'm like, I know he's good, but he goes, yeah, he gets into it. And I'm like, wow, he's not the Kevin that you do the interview with. He's the Kevin that goes in there and starts digging. I'm like, I'm impressed. Because normally it's like, yeah, we know Kevin Estrella. He's going to talk about all the many various topics that he knows. But it all comes to a point where you say, you know something, I'm so tired of what they've been teaching us. That how many lies can you tell me? I mean, when I was born, you lied to me. And then when I die, you lying to me. And everything in between is one big, huge mountain of lies. And it makes you wonder, is there ever going to be a point where the educational system actually tells the truth? Is the truth ever going to be told in the educational arena?
I don't know. You know, right now, all the information is censored and controlled. The United States is pretty much a communist country now. You know,
Yeah.
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they censor everything under the protection of Section 230, and that is now an international threat to the integrity of the whole United States. They control the information, and all the news media is controlled by George Soros. So how can people get any other news and information when there's nothing but the party propaganda that's the only narrative? We're right back to World War II.
Yeah. And that's a damn shame at this point, because as you look at the world we're living in, we're supposed to be heading towards Star Trek, and we're going back towards Christopher Columbus.
Good point. Yeah.
It really hurts. It hurts, bro. It really hurts. And I'm like, I just turned 50 and got angry, and my wife goes, "Why are you angry?" I said, "I'm angry because I see all these dumb kids running around, burning down people's property, and not going to jail. When could you do that? When can you get away with that? How can you go kill somebody and not get caught?"
I know.
It hurts. And then they say, "Well, there's nothing out there for me, and since there's nothing out there for me, I'm going to join this group because they're like a family." Well, hold on. I could join a mafia. They're family, but I got to do the jobs for the family. What does the family give you? Nothing. And every one of those guys out there in the street protesting, screaming, and shouting are wearing watches. Watch the videos when you get a chance. Go back and watch. Notice how many people are wearing a watch. When does a kid in this generation wear a watch? It just does not happen.
They don't know why are they wearing a watch.
Yeah, think about it. It's like us old schoolers. We may wear a watch because we're not carrying ourselves. Look, cell phone, throw it away. We can live without it. These kids got to have it. And then there's a host on the network that says, "Well, it's because the educational system has neglected these children." And I'm like, so what does that have to do with the presidency? That's your state. I mean, they get confused between federal, state, and local. They don't see there is... The president doesn't really do too much shit about nothing when it comes to the United States. Except regulate taxes if he wants to. Make them lower, make them higher. Everything else is by the state. But no one's going out there charging and yelling at the governor. It doesn't make sense. I'm like, did they learn this in school? Where did they learn that the president raised taxes on cigarettes? Yeah, that's what they said in D.C. It's because of Trump. We have to pay $6 tax on cigarettes. I'm sitting there like, so the president regulated the taxes of a city for cigarette products. Man,
you don't know how
he
works.
Yeah. It's like, man, he got too much time on his hand. I'm sorry. I mean, this is getting to the point where I'm at the point currently. I got two boys, and they're trying to get them to go into the classroom. I said, you know something? Why would I let my little 5 and 6-year-old brainiacs that can go in there and work on my computers for me, since I don't have to anymore? I got a 5 and a 6-year-old that can fix it, and can install Windows by themselves. 5 and 6-year-old. Why would I send them to school? You get my point, right? Why would I do that? Maybe for the educational. No, I don't want you to indoctrinate my kids. Hell, I got a 25-year-old that's getting ready to be 26 in December 25th. That's more indoctrinated than all of them. And I'm sitting there like, back in the day, I would have shot your ass. And I told him that straight to his face. He goes, "What? You would do it?" I said, "Christian, you just don't understand. I would have shot your ass because you just stupid. If I was the person I used to be, I mean, I was a one officer first class in the Navy. I had no I went through the ranks. I was a pissed off person when I got out, because I got out because my mother had an aneurysm, and then a year later my aunt had a stroke. So I said, I'm not even going back into the military. And I look at my son getting ready to be 26, and I just want to just knock him through four walls. And I'm like, you have no spine. I told him to go to the military. Look, get out of my hair, go to the military, get some manhood, or do something. Go play in a band, travel a country, learn a little bit about what you're talking all this nonsense about. Because they make it sound like it's all one big kumbaya land. No, there's a culture in every state, in every city, in every town, in every area of every town. There's a different culture. You can't make one culture in this United States. You got to make several little individual pockets. You don't think your idea and your ability to communicate with this people over here is going to be the same with this people over here, or the people over there, or the people. You can't talk to people all the same. That's why if you listen to speeches are different everywhere the person giving a speech goes. They tweak it, And the whole idea is that we are not one country, one culture. We are one country, multiple cultures. And the way they're trying to do it is uniting all of us to be one pot. And it ain't going to ever happen. That can't happen. Because, hey, I don't like pickles. My wife likes pickles. You think I'm going to eat a pickle because she likes them? I like olives. She don't like olives. I mean, I'm American. She's an Australian. I love shepherd pie. She can make it for me. You know what I mean? She won't eat it, but I'll eat it. I tried to get the host on the network to just go outside the box. I mean, instead of going ahead and arguing about what a news report says, take the whole news report, digest it, read it to the public, and then tear this whole son of a bitch apart. Just chop it until you get to nothing. I bet I did one show on a news article that CNN wrote. It took me 4 hours to tear it up, because there were so many innuendos and so many lies in it. And I had people calling in. I said, no, you got to be, everybody that calls in, y'all on hold. I'm not even nearly done. And they learned how much I wasn't done. Then one woman called and said, you're a racist. I'm like, yeah, I am a racist. I don't like your ass. Get the fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. Hold on. I'm a racist. Let's see. I've married 5 times. I've married Chinese, Korean, Indian, Australian. Oh, and Native American. Yeah, I got everything encompassed. I'm pretty cool, ain't I? And I tell people that, and I'm like, you know something? It's a wonder if you can identify the word racism and racist. Do they ever look in the mirror? And then I was talking to this lady, and she goes, well, they're just angry. I'm like, what are you angry about? You woke up on the wrong side of the bed and decided to go burn somebody's car? Or destroy a grocery store? The only grocery store in the area for 3 miles? What are you angry about? What kind of anger propels a person to kill somebody in cold blood, unarmed, for praying?
Yeah.
And I said, that's not anger, prayer. That's not anger when it comes to prayer. That's not a demon. This is the culture that you're living in. Deal with it. Honestly, I'm waiting to see if the aliens come. You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for them to say, hey, guess what? We created your dumbasses. We're your gods now. You know what that would do? You know what that would do? Hold on. What? Hold on. They're trying to claim they're our gods. I came from my mama. No, they claim they're God. And the world's going to stop for 13 seconds and say, Oh, hell no, we can't have that. We're going to send some boys up there to the spaceship. They're going to burn it up. I mean, that's the attitude we have. And it can be funny as hell when you think about it in a comical sense. But when you look at society in general, it makes you want to cry. Because these people
I honestly,
they
I have such a hard time with humans the way they are, because I'm not from this planet, and my original origins are nothing like what it's like here. And the more and more that we're seeing this 3D, 5D split that's going on right now,
right,
and we're seeing the evil for what it truly is, and the wrong-mindedness, selfishness, separatedness of how people actually operate becoming right in our faces, that I see how much of humanity really have a long learning process that they need to go back and be reincarnated to learn their lessons, because they are not ready to move on to a higher vibration. And I'm really seeing this now, where it's in your face, and you cannot deny it anymore, because it's so black and white. And the evil that is now in our face and are winning, and the good is being pushed aside and is losing, and nobody cares.
Nobody cares. There's
no accountability.
None. That's what I've been saying this whole time. No one cares. Look, the guy falls down the street. Back in the day, we walk over. Hey, sir, let me help you. Or, ma'am, let me help you. Let me. You need any help? Should I call an ambulance for you? Today? Hey, hold on. He's on the ground. Hey, he got some money in his pocket. First thing he trying to do, rob him, clean him out. Hold on, those pants fit me too. Hold on, I like his shoes. What do you think, Bob? Hey, this purse will go good to my wife. Oh, it's got some money in it too. Well, she don't need the money. That's the way they are. These people are sick. They have no conscience. They don't believe. They stopped believing. I mean, I thought it was bad when they took prayers out of schools and the spankings out of schools and the Pledge of Allegiance out of schools. But now look at the end result of what you're getting. You're getting cabernacks. I mean, I hate to say it. Yeah, that football player. You're getting him. You're getting people. What? When does a human kiss another human's feet and say, I'm sorry for the sins my father did to your people? What?
Yeah.
Hold on. That's neither here nor there. And we're supposed to be going towards Star Trek?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a point where you just say, do I really belong here? I mean, am I just an observer of this bullshit?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to observe this? Is this something that I need to learn personally? Or am I just stuck in a Twilight Zone? Because this is a real bad flick. This TV show is not working in my boots. I mean, somebody get the editor out and change the script.
Literally, Twilight Zone. We literally are living in the Twilight Zone. I can't believe what I see anymore. Honestly, I can't. I can't believe.
Don't it make you just sometimes sit back and say, you know something? Maybe I should just go in my closet and just play the guitar, let it be silent, enjoy myself strumming the guitar. Maybe I should play some songs from when I was a kid. Yeah, that'll work. And then you hear, in the news, there's nothing going on. Hey, finally, for the first time in months, there's been nothing going on. It's because they censored it all. They took it all away from you. I mean, the best example of that was a few days ago. They literally did not talk about the COVID-19 virus. Well, hold on. They didn't talk about COVID-19. Why? And the answer is their bosses told them not to talk about COVID-19. That was on Thursday or Wednesday. when they had 5,000 or 7,000 people die? They just didn't talk about it. What they wouldn't talk about? Trump. They made it a Trump day. What? I mean, and then one guy says, we don't want to talk about it, more deaths. We're all affected by it. La, 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 la. And I'm like, so you chose to talk about Trump. How about this? Talk about education for your children. How about talk about, I mean, I remember when we used to say, hey, you know, we had 3 things in life when I was growing up. You either go to work, go to college, go to the military. Now it's go to work. Oh, I can't get a job because I'm not educated. Go to college. Well, shit, they give away high school diplomas now. That's free off the press. I mean, hell, you want me to print you one up too? You know. Go to the military. Hell no, I ain't fighting that man's war. What? There ain't no war. There's no war. So how are we fighting somebody's war? And this is the world we live in. And this is the intelligence and the love that people have. Oh, I'm sorry, but they burned the American flag too. That used to be against the law, right? If I remember correctly, it used to be against the law to burn the American flag. Now you could just burn it. Set it on fire. And arrest a veteran that loves his country.
Yep.
What a world we live in. I'm sorry. I mean, if anybody, if you could beam me up, I'll go.
Are we following each other on Facebook?
I think we are. I had you on my other account years ago. When I was, me and my wife used to be the general managers at L&M Radio Network with Michael. I'm a dim dump piece of shit. Vera, Michael Vera, if you remember him. Used to be on the used to go on there with what was his name? Yeah, L&M back in the day, and didn't change to WCET. Well, I'm the reason why they changed it to WCET because I copywrote the name, and I also put in for a tax order for that name. And that pissed Michael Vera off. I did it because he tried to screw my family life up. But I will make sure I put us on Facebook together if I don't have you on this account. I mean, I've been on Coast to Coast twice, and I've enjoyed it. But the whole big issue I have still is people don't look at, it's not about religion, it's not about ideologies or isms. It's about you being controlled by the power of media. And they tell us independents that we're wrong. And in fact, we're more right than they are. Because we see it from the non-business standpoint. Yes, you know what I mean. The non-commercialized standpoint. Dang, I hate going on my damn phone. These people ding me all day. But I'm going to let you go. I just had to blow off some heat waves. If I do a show one day, and I'll message you on Facebook, if I do a show and I want to just go and talk about what people are missing in this country, I'll definitely invite you. Because one day I'm thinking about talking about what is really missing in this country. Where's the heart? Where's the love? Where's the love for your fellow man? Hell, where's the love for your mama? And why are trolls worse than they've ever been?
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. And I got to go edit that.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and I got to go edit that, which makes it even worse. You know how that feels to edit, right? I don't know.
Thank God. Oh. I'm glad it wasn't a live show, man. Holy, that was something else.
That was live. Don't tell me. Look, Penny is live and she knows it. It pissed a lot of people off, so they're actually going after that individual. And I'm kind of glad that other people are doing the job that I normally do, which is chase down these frauds out there, and I'm tired of chasing them down. But, you know, One day, when they come, please get me on that ship, because I'm ready to get the hell out of here. Okay? Remember, I need to go.
Yeah.
Kevin, thank you, brother. It was a beautiful show. Blessings to you. Blessings. And if you ever need me, I'm here.
Hey, you're a cool dude, man. You're a cool dude.
Yeah, some people, I don't like showing my nice heart side to people out there, but, one day I'm going to have to do it, because, I hate just being the only ones yelling the truth. And, even on Reverend Ed's show, he talks about the book of Revelations, and he throws in metaphysics with it, and he shows how time is changing, and the end game is coming, but people sit back and they say, you know something, I'm going to live forever. Screw that. I'm autonomous to everything. Well, isn't the thing we have is the ascension part, where we leave this body, go into the energy realm, and become something anew? I don't want to be the one of those people coming back here. That's why I say, just put me in a spaceship, ship me out, and I'll be happier. Put me on a planet with poison climate. I wouldn't care. It's better than here.
I'm not coming back. No. I got better places to go.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let me go. I got to get ready for Reverend Ed at 9. I know he wants to talk to me for like 2 hours, knowing his ass. I love Reverend Ed, though. Reverend Ed is he's an exorcist, parapsychologist. He knows Jennifer Malik as well. You remember Kevin and Jennifer Malik? And he's a dynamite man. And I look forward to this show because it's my release show, where I can get some spirituality in me and some feeling. While I got the wife running around who's getting all the degrees in metaphysics and spirituality and counseling and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, you know something? What is that worth when you got these dummies running around? That's what I asked her. She said it's a chance to help them. I'm like, yeah, I throw dice too. Hey, honey.
Hey, baby.
I'm being nice.
You are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Okay. All right, Kevin. I love you, man. Kevin, no! All right, brother. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, if you've noticed, this right here is the one that does summer fusion. And, yeah, he's the metaphysics. Here, Katie. Here, Katie. I'm moving over. The wife's got to come in.
Hello.
Oh, Jesus.
What can I say about me?
Just give me
I am an understudy of the Professor Dr. Margaret Roger Van Coops. I don't know if you know who she is. She is a metaphysician. Huh?
Oh, turn the speaker off. There you go.
No, sorry. Who is that?
Professor Margaret Roger Van Coops.
Okay, I don't know them. No.
Okay. They've been in the industry for 50 years. I've just become her understudy. We actually met on Richard and Linda's show. And from there, she enlisted me. And now I am resurrecting one of what could turn out to be the biggest metaphysical, we're talking mainstream here, metaphysical integrated alternative therapy and psychic development university in the country.
Oh, okay.
And we're just about to
All right.
launch. I have now finished majority of my education. I've gained 360 credits. I'm just about to get a pick of the crop, whatever I want, up to 4 PhDs.
Oh.
In
Wow.
mid-January, I'm just about to start lecturing in all of my fields. Right now, I can be seen. I used to call myself a integrated, and someone who was a multidisciplinary in psychology and alternative therapy. Now I'm actually a meta psychoanalyst. which is basically
Okay.
a field that Freud started back over 50 years ago. It became dead, and now it went into neuroscience, basically a clash between metaphysics and neuroscience.
Okay.
We're talking, and they only just made that field initially. They made that new field in psychology in 1999. So it was a brand new field of conscious thought.
Okay. Very interesting.
So yeah, basically that's what I do. I'm a coach. I'm a therapist. I'm pretty much everything in alternative therapy. I'm overqualified, but now I teach, and my shows. I do radio shows on a Wednesday night. However, I stopped as of January. I'm only cutting that down to one hour because I am doing literally 3 hours or more every Wednesday night as a full lecture, no guests. And the information that I'm putting out on my show is far too advanced for the simple mind. So you literally have to grab your notepad in order to learn through me.
Yeah. She's a notepad show.
Yeah. You are in session, you are in class when you are listening to my radio show. That's why I've had to cut it down to 1 hour now. And so I stopped. I think, what was my last topic? I forgot.
Can you send me a link?
Yeah,
Can you send me a?
sure can.
I'd love to check.
You want Kevin on your show?
Where do you want me to send you the link?
Messenger. Messenger's fine. Or
I'll do it.
Messenger easy.
Yeah, okay. I can send you over there.
Okay,
I'll
send it to
connect-
me in Messenger. You can also email me, kevin.estrella@hotmail.ca.
You still using Hotmail? Is that still alive?
Yes, it is. I have
Oh my
one.
God.
It's alive! Alive, baby!
Oh my God, I used to use Hotmail. I don't remember using Oh my God, it reminds me of the days of MySpace.
Why are you joking about that?
But I'll send you connect with you and send you over my details. No problem.
Yes, please.
Obviously.
Tell me
Daryl.
show.
Huh?
Tell me show is sent.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm going to send you a friend request.
All right, sit on center front. Ain't it a shame to bring like-minded geniuses together? You're a good man, Kevin. You've always been one. Last time I remember was you were with Brad Olson, and I was his producer / co-host when he was doing his reading for his esoteric series. When he was on another, what was the network? What was the network he was on? Dang, it was a while ago when he was doing the audio book, but he was reading his esoteric series. And Brad loves the hell out of you anyway. But I just sent you in Messenger her show. She'll add you knowing her. And I got to tell you, it's very rare to meet. What, hon? She said you're our friends. Okay. So she's going to send you all those wonderful classes she does. I mean, the whole thing is that I just want to see the world at least happy once. And I mean, I would love to actually have a Christmas that felt like Christmas when I was a kid. Once. And it'll never happen. Ain't it a shame? But you got to create that environment around yourself, as you would say.
Okay, good. She sent me a link.
Yeah, she said.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay.
So let me get off
Right.
and call Reverend Ed. But what you got to say? I got plenty of time. Trust me. Reverend Ed ain't bothering me.
Actually, I gotta go and pick up my daughter.
You have a good one. Have a blessed year. We can't wait till they come because you remember I got to get the first ticket on the boat going out of here, okay? I mean, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm not looking for a family pass. They'll make it themselves. Trust me. These two boys of mine, trust me, the aliens will want to keep them. But
he's already friends with me, and he has been friends with me.
oh, okay. You already friends with her, and you have been friends with her. So now, okay, she knows where to let you send you all the links. But I love you, brother.
Yeah.
You take it easy. And if you ever got anything you want to do, and you know, if you can't get on your show, and if you want, just give me a buzz, and I'll put a spot there for you. I'll tell somebody to shift for an hour or two so you can have your words. Because, I mean, sometimes we got to let go. You know what I mean?
All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Catch you later, Kevin.
Right on.
No problem, brother.
Okay, take care. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.